Happy Wednesday, guys. This is IT Live, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Texas Homer. That's Ian Boyd. On today's show, we're going to talk about Texas's deep passing attack, concepts we can use with our receiving core to really test secondaries and get some sick bombs thrown. And then also what we know and don't know as fall camp, practice camp, training camp, whatever you want to call it, winds down. But I got some other things to talk to you guys about real quick. Join InsideTexas.com for only $1 for your first week. As a bonus, your membership includes a complimentary year to The Athletic. Inside Texas, guys, the best spot for team news, recruiting. Season is firing up, so that means Ian and Paul analysis. You want to be hanging around, and you can get it for just $1 for your first week. Also, something really cool right now. IT is turning 40 years old, man. That's pretty nice. And we're going on a little anniversary tour all throughout Texas. We want you to come hang out. Tuesday, August 26th, we're going to be in Houston. Happy hour from 5 to 7. Trivia 7 to 9 at Big City Wings. So if you're a Houston guy, come out. Tuesday, August 26th. Then on Wednesday, right after, our boys are going to be traveling. They're coming to Dallas, Texas. I'm a DFW guy. I will be at the Dallas one. Happy hour at 5 at the Katy Trail House. So come hang out there, guys. Dallas, Texas, happy hour 5. And then Thursday, following it right back up, home in Austin, Texas at Little Woodrow's. Happy hour is 5 to 7. Trivia 7 to 9. If you're in those cities, guys, come hang out. Come meet the board in person. And then also, Eric will give you a little more information one-on-one. You could probably ask him something you couldn't get him to say on the internet. So come hang out, guys. Celebrate with Inside Texas for our 40th anniversary. We want to see you guys. Paul's book, 2025 Longhorn Football Perspectives, the best preview for the Texas Longhorns, as well as SEC opponents, the NIL recruiting landscape, all of that. And Eric does a piece. So Paul's books, all the links are in the description, physical or digital.
I'm going to be at that Little Woodrow's too.
So Ian will be in Austin. I'll be in DFW.
Can ask me some stuff that I felt back on too.
So come check it out, guys. Eric will be there. LC will be there hosting trivia and all of that. So it's going to be awesome.
Which Little Woodrow's? It's Burnet Road, right?
Good morning.
Let's see here.
See if you can pull it up, Ian. Figure out which Little Woodrow's.
I got the Woodrow specific graphic somewhere. I'm trying to find it.
Cool. You can find it real quick, probably from the group chat.
5426 Burnet Road.
Cool.
That high level graphics right here. Screenshot that.
Yeah. We do our stuff. Yeah, we do our stuff like that. We don't believe in putting it on screen. We show you our phones. Good morning, Elio.
Got some flag football plays I've been working on.
Nice.
I'm not going to do that again. I'm just kidding.
I enjoyed it. All right. First things first, Ian, let's talk passing attack. Deep. And I get a wonderful shout out to open it up. It's not a positive shout out, but I'm just, I'm happy to be mentioned. So the lead here is.
Yeah, I took a little.
Yeah. The lead here is going to be what I refer to as the Yankee concept. And Ian makes it sound like I named it. It's the NFL concept. It's called the Yankee concept. Ian, as a Southerner, doesn't feel good about that. But explain to them the basis for this concept and what situation it's used in.
It's strange. It's strange that it's called that. I don't know how I got that name. I tried to find an alternative. Y cross is really like the same principle, but a different mechanic of the same thing. So it doesn't really work as a replacement term. It's not that I hate Yankees. It's just that I love them. I've lived amongst them many years. But this, I just don't feel like it's a good name for. Does not match.
Well, I mean, some guys call it post over. So if you just want to be very literal, you can
boring. That's what it is. You have a deep post route, and then you have a deep over route from the other side of the field. Generally, there it is.
Yep.
And it's great from 12 personnel or 21, I guess, because you tend to get the defense to drop a safety down to account for all the gaps with the two tight ends. Then you get one safety deep, and then you run the deep post, And if he goes to stay on top of that, then the over route runs behind the linebackers who get sucked in on play action and runs away from the receiver, from the defender that's trying to cover him. So you get like a Ryan Wingo or Kansas City was really, really nasty on this when they had Tyreek Hill. And the Dolphins are still pretty good running this with Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill would get deep fast on that over route so quick. And it was like nobody could handle the run pass conflict. What I'm anticipating this coming year is that it'll be Wingo on that over as the Tyreek Hill and Livingston running deep with his ability to get to the right spots downfield. And Livingston is, I wrote him up the other week and I described him almost as sort of the smart coach on the field type because he's good at option routes or adjusted routes.
Is that the only reason you did that?
No, well, that's how I described it.
I know what I was saying. Is it because a white receiver is automatically a coach on the field?
But he's fast.
Exactly.
He's not white guy fast. He's just fast.
Yeah, he's a deep threat.
And he's good at the route adjustments, but he's also quick.
And he's tall.
The big question then, the follow-up question this year is, can he get open on these deep post routes if the best teams on the schedule put their best cornerback on him one-on-one? And if the answer is no, that's probably a very bad thing for Texas this year because I don't know if Wingo and Moore are as good on those. But Wingo and Moore on these deep crossers, awesome.
I love this concept. It's just the simplicity of it is very beautiful, especially for a two-man play action shot. I mean, this is about as distilled as you get. Two receivers going deep, and then you have that free safety in the middle of the field. You want them to bite on that cheese of the over, and then you got the big post. Most teams are going to coach you to fall back with the post no matter what. That's fine. Wingo's now running in the middle of the field, and once he catches it, he's going to be hard to tackle. So it's just a great concept, and it's brutal in its efficiency and its simplicity. And then that's I thought Mosley was going to start just from what I thought. And he just hasn't been at practice for whatever reason. And Livingston has came on strong, and he was good all spring too. So it's not that surprising. I just didn't think we would know 2 weeks out it's going to be Livingston type thing. But man, Mosley doesn't have that deep speed that Livingston does. So now these concepts are even more unlocked. You don't have to integrate DeAndre Moore yet. You'll see a situation where we will, but your two outside receivers can run this concept really, really effectively. And so it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for this. And for the quarterback, it's not muddy, right? Unless we'll talk about some adjustments defenses do. But in this situation, you snap and you're looking at the safety, man. If he comes down, over. If he doesn't. So it's really, really effective and simple.
It's about arm strength. A lot of it is, can you consistently throw to a spot deep down the field? Texas Jasper notes, all these concepts depend on the line as always. We will see. That's why I watch. Took him hand sign. Sark is pretty good at drawing up these protections with max protection.
Yeah.
Without the line actually having to be that good. Like Texas would get guys open in 21 long before Kelvin Banks or any other NFL ready tackles were walking the 40 acres.
Well, and that's the advantage of doing this in 12, right? You keep, like you said, max protect. You can keep the H and the Y in, and if you have to, you can, check release the back or keep them in. So you could ultimately have 8 blockers here. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 blockers here if need be, and at least slow down the team in order to throw deep here.
The quarterback takes a big drop too on these.
Yeah.
So a 7-step, I think, drop on that, or 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yankee. So this is just know this concept, guys. Luckily, it's a really simple concept to understand. But we have the quarterback that is willing to throw it. He has accuracy in the post, as we've seen. He likes to throw it deep. And then with the Livingston being on the outside opposed to a Mosley, that changes your play style. So now you have two deep threats. And Wingo's been really good on the over. And Ian can talk about this. What we've heard from practice, too, also fits into this play style.
Yeah, when you hear about Livingston in practice, it's the deep stuff. And when you hear about Wingo in practice, it's often these deep crossers. You can just imagine, like Wingo, anything that's like a slant or a glance or a deep over, where he's catching the ball on the run, going over the middle, and he's got like 4.4, 4.5 speed, and he's 215 pounds, and then he catches it on the move. Like, that's pretty intimidating for defense. For one, he's fast, so it's hard to cover. For another, then you got to tackle him, and the people that are best positioned to tackle him are like smaller than him, probably slower than him. So they got to catch him, and then they got to get him down. Just imagine anybody that can. Think back to Roy Williams at Texas and some of the plays where he'd catch the ball on the move and just be like dragging people deep down the field. That's what you're hoping to see. That's what you're hoping to see here, and it's entirely plausible that you'll get it.
Yeah. Bobby asks, how hard is it to prep for a first-year quarterback's pet plays and comfort concepts when no film exists and there's a new OC, if he's not days less just for men addicted muse? So Hartline is going to be the OC, but it's still Day's offense.
Is that who he's talking about? I got lost in the parentheses.
And so it's still going to be the Day offense. If you go watch, I posted on the board Julian Sands' every rep from spring game. And we talked about a little bit yesterday with Paul, but they open his reps with a screen, first things first, to make everyone second guess their pass rush. I'm sure we'll see a lot of that from Texas. Of course, we saw them have success with that versus us on that one play. So I expect some screening early just to say, like, Colin Simmons, don't you run downfield as fast as you can. And then most of the saying stuff was, catch ball, one step, end breaker, this kind of stuff. And then when they get to the red zone, they isolate a receiver outside and then they throw the goal line fade. Like I said yesterday, I don't really care about that concept because it's low completion, except for Ohio State's wide receivers. They're the ones that I'm like, okay. Normally, I let quarterbacks throw it all day because it's just not a great concept efficiency-wise. But that's going to be the saying stuff. Those are his pet plays and comfort concepts are going to be the coach's pet plays and comfort concepts. And it's get the ball out quick. Don't let the pass rush go, and don't make a young Saiyan constantly have to read the field. And then occasionally they'll break out something like this, right? Deep, that are easy read deep for him. But man, expect them to not make the young guy hold the ball that long. What do you think, Ian?
I really don't know what they're going to do. I should watch all his clips again. The worst case scenario is that they feel confident enough to go 4 wide and spread it around with Max Clare, kind of like Texas did to Alabama in 23, and just hunt quick game shots from moving the running back and the tight end in and out of the box, and then hunt downfield shots from spread sets where you can pick on the weakest coverage defender. If they have a game plan like that and they can actually execute it, then I think it could be like a whooping in Columbus.
Well, for the spring game, he wasn't getting real pressure, but he was confident in where he was looking, and he was fairly accurate. So that's where it could get a little tricky if Sayan's ready for that. And then someone asked, would short passes near the line of scrimmage give the Texas DL a chance at swatted balls and tip-ups? Yeah, it would. And Sayan's not the biggest guy ever. Ian had a nice Grok win on Twitter.
Oh, my gosh.
Sayan's a shorter guy. Ian, explain to them the situation that happened on Twitter.
Well, let me just say, Ryan Day, his going 4 wide and quick game is not his, like, he's almost more likely to get big and try to just smash Texas with bigger sets and play action bombs than he is to get spready and throw it around quick. So that's partly why I think Texas has a very good chance in this game. But if they did make that pivot and get that style down, then I hate Texas's chances. Julian Sayin, this is how it started, is that Bruce Feldman reported that Julian Sayin had been named the starter at Ohio State. Big surprise. And Feldman compared him to Cade Klubnik. A cynic would say that the comparison is the pigmentation. I did not like that comparison. And I was like, not because I don't think Sayin can be good, but I was like, Cade Klubnik is like 6'2", and Julian Sayin is like not even 6 feet tall. And that makes like a really big difference. Because I quote tweeted this viral Feldman tweet, my quote got into the consciousness of Ohio State Twitter, which is as bad as any other Twitter space you'll ever find. So I had all these Ohio State people telling me Julian Sayin is 6'1" at least. I said, no, he's not. Then somebody showed me a picture of Julian Sayin standing in between Devin Brown and Will Howard. Will Howard measured at the combine, not a fake listing at a camp, not the roster listing, but the real combine where they actually get a tape measure and are exact and barefoot. And Will Howard was 6'4". In the photograph that was provided to me by the Ohio State fan, Will Howard is towering over Julian Sayin. And they're like, see, look. And I was like, I do see. He looks a lot shorter. Then a Texas fan may or may not be watching. I don't know if you are. Shout out to you. Asked Grok to analyze the photo and tell us how tall Julian Sayin was. And it said that Julian Sayin was 5'11".
Yeah. And you said it was 5'11" earlier. So it was just a sweet, unbiased take. And everyone we've talked to, right, like all of our recruiting guys or whatever that have seen him in person. And remember, he was a Texas recruit, right? When Arch committed, it changed some things. But, I mean, there's a world where Julian Sayin is the quarterback at Texas if things went differently. And all of them were like, he's short. Don't listen to – I think because Ohio State has him listed at 6'1". But everyone I've talked to, recruiting guys and stuff, are like, he's not 6'1". He's under 6 foot. But it was nice for Grok to immediately – figure that out.
You can almost always deduct 2 inches from a quarterback's height on the roster. Not always, but a lot of times, especially if the guy's not tall, then and it's like a modest listing, and you start deducting an inch or two. They had Ellinger like 6'3" at Texas, and he was, I think, just over 6'1" at the combine. Buechele was probably like barely 6 foot.
And then we got a chat from Brett Nelson. Ian, how do you see Texas going after Sayin?
Take away the first read and trust the pass rush and bring a ton of zone blitzes with everybody backing off. Just alternate who the 4th pass rusher is. See if you can confuse him and get him to throw to the wrong guy or not pick up the right hot defender, or the offensive line miss the guy and get someone in there.
Hold the ball.
Try to get you're going to hope that Simmons wins his share of the battles, but you're also going to hope that you get a lot of plays where it's like Anthony Hill or Ethan Burke or Trey Moore gets just the easiest setup because of how they're focused on Simmons. Huge. We're going to preview this game. I'll probably write like 7 articles between now and the game. Austin Sierraveld, their left tackle, versus Colin Simmons. It probably needs to be a Texas win.
Is he going to be left or right?
Left.
He's going to be left? I thought it was Oni now or whatever, but all right.
No, Sierraveld ended up being so good all offseason that, well, that's the story. But they just made him left. Or the transfers are not very good, but I think he's going to be pretty good.
So the trick is change the picture through zone replacement blitzes, get him to hold the ball, try to muddy the waters on the quick game, and then what do you do about these receivers going deep? You play too high, like last game?
Or Tampa 2. If you can play a lot of Tampa 2 and not get gashed in the run game, that'd be great.
I think the key for them is that run game, right? If you're able to run effectively, Peoples, Donaldson, that kind of stuff,
But
then it's tough because you're taking a ton of the work off of saying, right? You're letting a young quarterback, not
see,
feel like he has to make every play.
this is the hope for that game, though, is that Ryan Day's going to be like, we're Ohio State and we're tough. And we represent the people of Ohio. And I'd like to see Lou Holtz right about now, and you bring him out here and I'll fight him on the field. If he comes in with that stupid knucklehead mindset, Texas has a great chance. Because I don't think that makes sense. Like, we're going to run the ball and take deep shots and let our run game and receivers carry us against Texas. But Texas is going to gang up on the run game and the deep threats and try to. So I don't think that's a good strategy. What he needs to do is go quick spread and make Texas prove that they can like chase guys out in the flats and hold up in coverage when Claire is removed from the box and all these things. That's what would terrify me. If he does that, I feel like he's just falling into their hands.
Yeah, you do hope he kind of goes ego ball. He gets weird about Michigan, like the toughness of Michigan, and a lot of his you hope the ego kind of takes over there.
Yeah, and it could very easily could do that. So,
all right, before we go to more deep passing concepts for Texas, we'll have a similar concept to this, but now we've added DeAndre Moore. But before that, guys, we got a cool new collaboration here. Some things just go better together. Burgers and fries, Friday nights in football, and now Academy Sports and Outdoors and Whataburger. For a limited time, exclusive Academy and Whataburger tailgate gear is coming in hot. Fuel your pre- and post-game traditions with fan styles and game day gear that say, I tailgate like I mean it. Hurry, this exclusive collaboration won't hang around long. Dig in now at Academy Sports and Outdoors, where fun can't lose. Guys, Whataburger, right? Come on, Texas Unite here. This is a cool collaboration here.
You know, one of the most happiest days of my life in the last couple of years was when I learned that
the birth of your children, marriage, anything like that.
That was no in the last couple of years. Okay. I learned that they were going to build a Whataburger near my community up in Liberty Hill, and then the specific day when it opened. And when they open, they get like staff from other Whataburgers to help train the new staff, and so it's like absolutely primo. They've maintained a high standard. But
well, I'll tell you what's going on in Denton, Texas. In the parking lot of Academy is the Whataburger. So this is a big win for me. Okay. So we've seen the Yankee concept, the post over. It's a two-man deep concept. Okay. Do you right here, what happens? This is actually, do you want to break down how it's covered? I think you did it. But do you want to cover this real quick before we go?
So this is if you play Yankee in too high, it gets a lot harder to execute because they can cap both deep routes with a safety, and then you have to run the ball or call something else to throw it underneath. Sark will be like, okay, if they're doing that, then we're just going to run the dang ball. And if we can't run the dang ball, he just kind of basically, theoretically, he would like to go into Ryan Day mode and be like, we're going to be tough, and we're Texas, and Texas has a T, and the toughness does too, and just try to run the ball. In practice, he's done more what I've said and just like tried to spread people around a little bit. But a good too high where you cap both outside receivers with a safety should basically erase this concept.
Now we have the concept of it's a double crosser. So basically it's double post over. And Sark calls this the wave concept. So now you're getting Yankee with an extra post, and now you're including DeAndre Moore in the slot here. So now you have Wingo.
More an extra over, I would say.
Sure. It's generally double. It's generally double post over.
I specifically drew him running under the nickel, like a Y cross.
Okay, we will allow it. It's two overs and a post, guys. All right, so this is going to involve Moore, Wingo, and Livingston. These are all 3 deep threats now. So this is a little bit fun. This can change the calculus a little bit more. 3-man route concept. You're going to be able to still protect with your Y, and then the running back out to the flats as a check down if need be, or he can stay in. So you can still get a 7-man protection here. Okay. So what happens now, Ian, when you introduce the slot into this concept?
You basically create the same thing, but you run off a safety. So it's like if there are 2 safeties, now we need to run off 2 safeties to open up the over route. So the slot over, I'm looking at some secret resources right now that I have acquired in my life. And it is, let's see here. What does it say? Z wave. It's not very specific, but it's more of an over. I'm right and you're wrong. That's what matters.
Sure.
Okay.
Remember Sark in that awesome clinic that he did when he's still at Alabama? He talks about wave and all these concepts. Yeah.
Yeah. So that H is trying to run off a safety. Then you still have the X on the post. And so it actually, the way the quarterback reads it is he reads that slot first, just to see like, hey, do they even pick this up? And if they don't, like, just let it fly. But if they do, then you go back to the same post over read. Now you do have to protect a little more because you have a little more to see and you have 1 less person in protection, right?
Yeah.
But if it's 2 high safeties, you can't cap all 3 vertical routes because 3 is 1 more than 2, Connor.
Yep.
So somebody is 1-on-1. And you hopefully find out who that is and throw them the ball.
Yeah. And the trick here, right, is to have a lockdown corner like for the X, right? So Livingston X. If the safeties get tied up covering both of these over routes from the Z and the H, now you got Livingston 1-on-1 with a corner. And if Livingston can get the pressure, or he's a contested catch guy too, he can do that. Or he just has natural leverage. The corner's playing outside and he's going inside. So there's some options here, but a big answer is just, 1 to 3rd round corner on X.
Yeah, I guess if the defense could X out any single receiver with a good defender, then that puts them back in the positive margin, right?
Yeah.
So AR says, I see Igbenison. I don't know.
Igbenosin.
That makes sense. I see Big Igbenosin checking Wingo and Matthews checking Livingston.
So Igbenosin had like 16 penalties on the year. And so the trick with him is to throw at him often, to try to get 15 yards, these kind of things too. So there's also some penalty prone corner there that you might test just to get the 15 yards at times too. But go ahead, Ian. Sorry.
If I were them, I might see if Igbenosin can get away with a lot on Livingston. Let's see how Livingston does getting to his spots if he's getting grabbed, early in the route. Also, Igbenosin is big.
He is.
And bigger than Matthews is a smaller guy. So if they may want to keep Igbenosin on Wingo for that reason. And then, of course, as we all know, they have Devin Sanchez on the bench. And they have Lorenzo Styles at nickel. And they can play Matthews at nickel if they need to play Sanchez at corner. They have a lot of pretty decent options.
Yeah, I have
Eric may show up at any minute now and be like, Ohio State's guys are no better than Texas. Kobe Black's just as good as Devin Sanchez or something like that. That may be true. But they definitely, like Texas, have a lot of talented options in the secondary.
Yeah, I have Igbenosin listed at 6'2" and Jermaine Matthews, the other corner, at 5'11".
Yeah,
Sanchez.
that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Sanchez is still a little bit lean, I think, still.
Let me see what they have him listed as.
I saw 6'2", 180. I don't know if that's up to date.
As far as their roster, he's actually 6'2", 198 on their roster.
Oh, that is like 20 pounds heavier.
That makes him the heaviest corner because Igbenogsen's listed at 195 and Jermaine's at 190. So that would make him tied for the tallest, and he weighs more. So we'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we do not see him play well against Texas.
Yeah, game 1. Those North Shore kids, man. One day Texas is going to figure it out. Not just get a North Shore kid, but like they pan out at Texas. That's a tricky school, man.
I don't know if it's worth the trouble, honestly.
I know. All right. So here's your double over wave concept. So this is when you hear deep passing attack, people automatically kind of go towards, they've been trained towards like the air raid, like 4 verticals. But generally, Sark is doing these in a play action style, meaning that it's going to be a 2 or 3 man route combination with a test on the safeties. Luckily, like I said, the Livingston edition unlocks a lot of deep stuff now because Mosley was more in the under game and kind of, catch it at 5 type of stuff. Livingston's a different type of deep threat.
If y'all read my book, Fly Over Football, available on Amazon, you'll see that in the 2010s, 4 verticals became less the thing for spread teams. And this concept wave is kind of unique to Sark. But other spread, the norm in spread is actually to get play action, get 3 vertical deep shot plays out of play action a lot, and not to get into the 4 wide, 4 verticals as much.
That was basically like the marketing of like when you first learned spread, but it didn't hold up.
Leach did it a lot, and everybody else just all of Leach's proteges were too afraid to do all the things that Leach did.
Yeah,
like his version was the most pure.
That's why he's so awesome, dude.
They just have not matched. They did not match all that he did. They were not as bold, and they were much more compromised and balanced.
He was the most
and all sorts of stuff.
He was the most principled.
The best was Dana Holgerson got real famous with some of the success he had at like Houston and Oklahoma State and West Virginia, and he would talk about like games where teams would be like dropping 9 into coverage and how Mike Leach's system was just not quite needed an amendment, and how he and other guys were running the ball and were physical and they had improved upon Leach's system and taken it to a different place. And then somebody went to Leach and asked about it, and he's like, well, I win more games than all those guys. So I don't know what they're talking about. It's freaking awesome.
He's awesome, man.
And he was right.
No one had better press conferences, dude. One of the rare coaches where you could get incredible answers. It would have been fun to watch you if Leach was ever a coach, man. He would have given you the best answers. And you guys could have talked about how the Comanche roamed the plains and related that back to football, just like your book, which is a great book, by the way, Fly Over Football. Get it. It's an incredible read.
Have you read Blood Meridian yet?
I have not. I read the first however many. I've read the opening scene, and you're just like, oof. Like I got a character intro just like that where he's going and accusing, and then you just watch, like I'm just like I'm a villain intro like that is incredible. I will read it though. Everyone just tells me it's a brutal book. Could you imagine Leach interviews in the NIL? Yeah, how do you think he would how would Leach handle NIL?
Probably pretty, maybe kind of like Kippen, honestly. He'd probably be pretty just like blunt about it.
Yeah. But that's a good thing to think about. Ian has Aranda now. Yeah, dude.
I don't have access to him often enough, though. If Texas loses to Ohio State, you should just bury your head in Blood Meridian and indulge the dark places.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. You'll see me as a goth on the next couple episodes. All right. Any final pieces you want to talk about the deep passing game, or are you good?
I think we summed it up. I do think we might see 12 personnel. Actually heard from one guy that had talked to coaches that thought we might see more 12 personnel than maybe we expected, just because those two outside guys, Livingston and Wingo, and their ability to hit the over and the post may be what the coaches feel best about this year. No, that doesn't leave much room for DeAndre Moore, and I feel like DeAndre Moore is probably going to be a bigger piece of the puzzle than was being indicated in this conversation. But that's what I heard. And in 12 personnel, these tight ends, they're not going to like plow the road in the run game, but if they give you extra bodies to throw in front of pass rushers, and some of them in particular, like injuries and Townsend in particular, are like just hell on wheels if they like release for a screen pass or a flat or something, because injuries is just so sure-handed, and Townsend is going to be the fastest Texas tight end since Jermichael Finley.
Well, this is a good lead-in. Compare injuries to Helm, particularly quickness, shiftiness, ability to get open.
I don't know. I think Helm gets a little underrated in this regard, because he had a couple moves at times this year, and I think you're starting to see already in the NFL preseason that he, as good as he was, he can actually do even more than we saw. I think injuries is
he made a nice block. Someone highlighted his block in the preseason, and I was like, all right.
I think injuries is like maybe if Cade Brewer had stayed just a little healthier and had been able to get more work in the passing game. If Cade Brewer had been like healthy and zeroed in on more passing game instead of being slowly turned into a like pseudo fullback.
And well, and the sure-handedness is huge. He has great ability to find zones. That's really important, especially for a quarterback to feel safe. And then he did some good stuff on crossers at Cal. And so this is a good question for AR. How would injuries play factor into the deep passing game, like a wide cross or? And there's also a thing too, like, you know, people want shiftiness in the tight end. Like Sark gives these tight end, like sometimes these tight ends are catching the ball and no one's within 15 yards of them. And they're able to just kind of keep going. That's also, the tight end can get wide open in this system pretty often.
Yeah. Sark's MO is generally more like your tight end's role in the 3-deep passing game is to buy the quarterback time by blocking. And then Sark is a lot better than most coaches at working in screens and play action and leaks to the tight end, where it looks like it's going to be a vertical passing game where he's protecting, and then instead he's slipping out wide open. Sark does a lot of that, and injuries is going to be very good at that. I think injuries is, like to Drew Kelson's point, I think injuries is going to be perfect for Sark. I think an actual Jermichael Finley type tight end would be a little underutilized by some of the things Sark has done. Because Sark's stuff is good at turning a solid all-around blocker with good hands into a weapon. But Sark's not like flexing his tight end out to run Jason Witten option routes or to get down the field like Gronkowski and ISO or something, you know? We have not, maybe he would do that if he had the right guy, but we haven't really seen that. So,
do you think Sark will take advantage of Patricia having Caleb Downs play closer to the line of scrimmage this year?
Yeah, I don't think Sark wants to see Caleb Downs close to the line of scrimmage. We got more than enough of that on the goal line. I think the goal should be to find a way to make Patricia play Caleb Downs far away from the line of scrimmage.
I hate it when he's just like hanging around in the middle of the defense. He's not deep. He's not short. He's just creeping around. My eyes immediately, I'm like, and then he's going to drop back and you don't know which angle he's taking. I don't like it's stressful when Caleb Downs is just like loosely hanging out before the play. And you're like, what is he going to do?
I guess to Woodcrest's point, Knowles had awesome ways to do that. And I don't know that Patricia will.
That was kind of Noel's thing. He was always doing something cool. What was the name of that position that he would use? Was it the Leo at Oklahoma State? He'd always like have a unique player that just kind of whoever he liked that would play all sorts of roles. I think it was they called it the Leo.
The Leo was their pass rusher.
Yeah, that would drop out.
It was kind of Micah Parsons-y.
Yeah.
Where he could play on the edge, but then they also had rules where he could play in between the tackles, just off like a flex, like old Tom Landry or Desert Swarm flex kind of position. They were pretty. He's pretty great, Knowles.
It's like Downs has no responsibility on defense, just ball. He's got the Palomalu kind of role, where it's just like he's good. And the fun part was year one when we faced him at Bama. He was still, I think he's going to be an all-pro safety. And I said that in high school. Like, I think he's incredible. Even before he was at Ohio State when he was going to Bama. And Sark was able to get him a couple times because he was reactive and fast. And so if you could get him to be reactive and fast to the wrong play, you could draw him out of the play, like the RPO we hit at the goal line. I think he took the cheese on an over one time and we got it over his head. But that's not really occurring anymore that much with Downs. He's gotten a lot smarter with more experience. So I don't know how much you're going to even be able to force him out of position like you did at Alabama.
If I were them, I'm just playing him as a safety. I'm playing single high coverage and I'm sitting him down in the box and telling him, cue the tight end. If he run blocks, go stuff the run. If he runs a route, cover him. If he protects, then keep half an eye on him in case he slips out. But if he's protecting, then go wild as just a robber in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. They have a lot of guys that can cover to set him up to do what Kelson's saying. It's a concern. He's a very good player.
Yeah. Why is there so many nerves about Downs? We torched him at Bama. We played him like game 2 of his freshman year. It's a big difference now with Downs with experience. It's a different player. A safety can get cooked game 2 versus a Sark scheme, but that's not really the case with Downs anymore, man. He's a damn good player. And how they use him stressful, right? Like I don't really care if he's like a too high safety. And I know where he's at. They don't let you know where he's going to be. And that's what's stressful for quarterbacks because they'll drop. He's fast enough to be at linebacker depth and turn around and cover a deep half. He can do all sorts of stuff. So it's not just him being a great player. It's how they deployed him, at least with Knowles, that made it even difficult to anticipate where he was going to be. And he can make plays because of that. And then downhill, he's fast and he's smart, and he'll make a tackle and destroy your outside run game, apparently.
I feel like Patricia's just going to play single high man and let him hang out in the box on the tight end. Like the Patriots would do with Patrick Chung.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be complicated. They have athletes that can play coverage. So.
All right. Next up, we're going to talk what we know and don't know after fall camp. But first, guys, let's hear a word from our main man, David McClellan.
I'm just going to say, guys, you probably need a fiduciary financial advisor. And I've got the guy for you. His name is David McClellan with Forum Financial. He works broadly and deeply with his clients as a financial life coach. And he should know something about coaching because he won several national championships as a swimmer for the University of Texas. He specializes in financial planning and has contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. So contact David today to be your fiduciary financial planner. and schedule a 1-hour consultation to assess your financial situations. The free consultation is available, so just give him a call. The number is 312-933-8823. That's 312-933-8823. His email is also in the description below.
Thank you, David. All right, camp is basically wrapped. We had our final scrimmage. This week is mock week, so everything's going to be the same as game week, even though school hasn't started. Sark even did his presser on Monday after doing one on Saturday. So Sark's even doing his normal routine, which is interesting. So we're going to have a mock game on Saturday, which Eric says is just a glorified walkthrough. It's not like a heavy hitting thing. And then, of course, starting Monday, it's Ohio State week. So we kind of know the main part of training camp, fall camp, whatever you want to call it, his wind down.
We got Drew reminiscing in the comments. I hope there's a show coming up, maybe tonight, where Drew Kelson talks about what it's like to go into the Horseshoe and play Ohio State in a big game.
Yeah, Drew, are you going to be on Wednesday Night Live tonight? Because that would be a cool thing to talk about when you played there.
Or next week. I just hope it needs to happen at some point.
Yeah, second start of my career was on the road at Ohio State. Yeah, I hope you're on tonight, Drew, and then you can chat about what it was. Yep. All right, Drew will be on the Wednesday Night Live, guys, so tune in and he'll tell you what it was like.
Or next week,
in that game.
or both. We'll talk about it.
All right. Ian, what did we learn from this camp?
I think we got confirmation of a couple things that we already knew. Just that things are going to be very arch-centric on offense. That's a good thing. There's a lot of hype. I feel like Texas has not even hyped it quite as much as
no, Texas has been much more reasonable in that regard.
There were some comments out of the first scrimmage when all the parents were there that was like, man, this defensive front is really serious. I think that was like a bigger takeaway than Arch. But you got Ed Orgeron out there saying that he's watched Arch Manning in practice at Texas somehow.
And he said he's the only guy that he thought was.
And he's the only guy he's ever seen that he would compare to Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I can't quite go there.
I want to go there so bad, but whenever he said it, I was like, yes, but also I've been hurt before, you know?
I mean, if that's true.
Yeah, if that's true, hell yeah, let's do this.
And then the Texas can win the championship this season because Joe Burrow is the 2019 Joe Burrow is the greatest quarterback to ever play in college football.
I agree with that. Everyone's going to go with, other legends, but that season, and we got to play against him, man. He did the Queen wave. That was devastating. But yeah, I thought Burrow that year to me is the pinnacle of college football quarterbacking.
Yeah, this is the best.
Yeah.
We can discuss the GOAT maybe.
No, we're not going to talk about Tebow. No. That derailed our board for like 2 days.
That generated interest and ad clicks and
that was
infuriated Paul and Eric and Justin and all. That was wonderful. All right, what are we actually talking about? So Arch Manning is going to be good and an engine of offense. Thought that going in. That feels like that's confirmed coming out. Not to say that he can't make some mistakes in Columbus or throughout the year.
For sure.
But there's probably going to be a heavy burden on him, and it's expected that he can carry it.
Well, and you say too, like the games are even a little different for Arch, right? Like in practice, Sark's not going to let him just run around, and so it's like the games will actually open him up even more to do the playmaking stuff that Sark might not allow in practice just for injury risk, and also he wants him to run the damn concept. So in game, you might see even more exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, did you mention here what his granddad always tells him?
Yeah.
Get down or get out of bounds. He ends every phone call with that. And if your granddad who knows you is telling you that every time on the phone, he probably knows that you don't like to get down or get out of bounds. So I hate the gamerness thing because it's so abstract, but there's a couple players where I will allow the gamer moniker And I think Arch has that.
I think all dual threats are by nature gamers because the aspect of their play only shows up when they're allowed or encouraged to run around.
Yeah, and create.
And then the defensive front, the whole group of it, the edges, the interior D line, and the linebackers are all real serious business. They're going to be overwhelming against a lot of teams. Hopefully against Ohio State, although that's maybe a little optimistic.
I hope. The trick is they're getting it out like they were in the spring game really quick. All right.
Arch. So we kind of thought we knew that going in, and it's like it feels great.
Yeah. So the defensive front with the pass rush ability, I feel a lot better about the D tackles, everything we've heard there. Of course, the linebackers, Ty Anthony Smith pushing LaFau for like starter reps is a great thing to me because that means you got 3 deep at linebacker, and of course you have Anthony Hill, and then you have down to the third stringers on edge are early round draft picks, so it's pretty wild. And then to have so many guys impress from that just heap of defensive tackles we took, I feel good about front 7. What do we think we know, Ian?
I think Texas is going to be very zone heavy in coverage, predominantly match 3, which is it's like cover 3, but you can play man with certain defenders, and you can and you don't just drop to a spot. You drop with awareness of particular routes, but it's zone. I think we'll see more Tampa 2. Probably see still some.
What's Tampa 2?
Tampa 2 is, it can be a lot of things nowadays, but it's 2 deep safeties, but then another deep defender in the middle, in the kind of intermediate area. And his job is to keep those safeties from being compromised by concepts like wave that we just went over.
Yeah.
Where he takes that first one, and then you still have 2 safeties to cap the other vertical routes. Yeah, I think they're going to be very zone heavy and zone blitz heavy on defense. And I think offensively, I basically just reiterated my article that we just went over. I think it's going to be like the engines of the offense are going to be Arch in the option game, in the run and screen game, and then Wingo deep and Moore and Livingston deep and Moore and Wingo intermediate.
Cool. No complaints from me. What we do not know. Now we're going into the mysterious abyss. What are the...
This could be an abyss. This could really be an abyss.
Yeah. What are the few big unanswered questions about this team, Ian?
If Trevor Gooseby was seriously injured for a long period of time, or even if Brandon Baker was injured for a sustained period of time or in a big game, what do they do? It seems like they are working out their solutions right now. And I don't know if they have found any that they like yet, or if they're ever going to find any that they like this season.
Chapman is the swing tackle right now, according to Eric.
The good thing about the tough thing about Kojo is that he had gotten to a point, we think, where if he went out there and played, he could at least like execute the system. And he may have, I don't know how good he was going to be if he played this year, but it's just somebody that like we've seen Sark can just like get by if he has a guy that just knows what to do, and he can like kind of scheme help around, right? Turn somebody into a tight jumbo tight end or something. Play Spencer Shannon more, whatever. But they don't have Kojo. So then can Jaden Chapman be that? Can he be developed enough? And Jaden Chapman is, let's see here, a redshirt sophomore. So maybe. If he can be that, then that's fine. Nick Brooks is the other guy that I think they think actually has real tackle potential, but he's a true freshman, and he had an injury that's held him out of some camp practice, so he's not getting that essential development. It sounds like they worked Neto at left tackle some just to see how that looks. You'd wonder if Cole Hudson could move out there.
Yeah, Robertson playing well at center is a big key to all of this. If Robertson can hold down center, then you get some more options being able to move guys around.
It only takes like 1 or 2 injuries before the whole thing could really start to get.
See, that's where the trick is, you know, we're as close as to the edge as you want to be with our depth. One more key injury or a depth injury, now we're in a really sketchy place. So, like, we are right. We don't want to go any further than we've gone in that situation.
I got to say, though, Jay in the comments says, if Chapman has to come in at tackle, I'm not concerned. I am concerned. I've never seen him play college football except for like a goal line snap as a fullback. I have no idea what happens if Chapman comes in at tackle. Maybe Jay knows. Jay, if you know, let us know. Give us some inside scoop. I have no idea. So it certainly fits as what we do not know.
I was going to say, it goes under the moniker of what we do not know, yeah.
From years of parsing off-season coach speak and preseason coach speak, I would hazard a guess that you should have a decent level of concern if Chapman has to play tackle against like Ohio State or Georgia.
This is why us not having spring games are unacceptable. Like, I need to just see these guys. I just need to see them.
That might make it worse. If you just see it.
You prefer to not know? Yeah.
But if you had seen Chapman just get torched by Simmons, then that would not make this better.
Yeah.
You'd be, well, maybe he's gotten better in the last.
Well, zero sum's a little tricky, man. Like, if you hear the tackles are getting, blown by, it's like, yeah, but this edge room is scary. So you just have to see it in game because it's not, you're not blocking Colin Simmons. Like, nobody really looks good against Simmons. So, yeah, but it does fall under the what we don't know. And then your second piece, this is what got you heat all last week. Everyone was so mad at you, Ian. I mean, on the board, on you, I was getting comments about it on videos you weren't even on last week, dude. So they were not happy with your questions about our coverage. But
what do you think was less popular, this one or my take on Tebow and Michael Jordan?
In the real football world, it was this one. Fans were like actually mad. The Tebow and Jordan one, that's just sports guys arguing. Like, if you do say that on any couch around your friends, you're gonna get the LeBron Jordan argument. But this one, people were upset. They were calling for Eric to come on and you guys to have some debate about it.
I think some people were asking Eric to fire me.
Were they?
There's one guy that commented on the. I asked if Manning to Livingston was the next Colt McCoy to Jordan Shipley.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, Ian is holding inside Texas back. He needs to go. And I was like, is he responding to this article?
Yeah.
I don't understand. And then
you honestly had a hell of a week.
It turned out to be this.
Oh, it did? I was going to say, because you had the Colt Shipley that you got a revolt on for whatever reason. You got the coverage one people revolted on. Then you dropped the Jordan argument that Jordan wasn't the greatest. And, man.
No, that's not even the take. Jordan is the greatest.
Okay, Jordan is the greatest.
But he's not actually better at basketball than modern players.
Okay, there we go. And then you had Tebow as the greatest, and you took greatest as like political leader greatest, like he great as in large and exactly consequential, large, looming, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so man, I didn't realize it, but you had a hell of a week last week, man. Your engagement was probably.
Dude, I'm ready for the season. I'm just getting warmed up.
All right. So what do we not know about? We're not going to relitigate this. We talked about it all last episode with us, but quickly, what do you want to know about coverage?
Who covers if Texas plays a team with a dangerous slot and they're running the kind of 3 vertical spread deep patterns that we were described in the first half of the show, who plays nickel for Texas and who covers those dangerous slot receivers? Or if they play a team that throws underneath to a quick slot and it's just a heavy part of the offense, who's covering them? And a lot of the offseason, the idea has been like, well, Jelani McDonald will do it. And I don't think that that's ideal. I think they could maybe make that work decently. I think it limits them. I don't think it's the best use of Jelani. Then there was some Michael Taft maybe. And I was like, that's worse. That's much worse. And then it seems like the answer is going to be, it could be, it feels like, honestly, it feels like the answer is actually going to be Grayson Littleton or Wardell Mack. And the staff just kind of obfuscates and they're like, well, we're going to match up differently against different teams. And we have lots of guys that do it. We're going to play to matchups, and McDonald can do it, and this guy can do it, and this guy can do it. I think what they're obfuscating is that when they play teams that have a speedy slot receiver that has to be matched up against, which is fairly often, and in week 1 in particular, it's going to be one of Littleton or Mack. And so that has like that, there's a huge beta from what we know for what the outcome of that could be. Like, is one of these 2 guys like ready to be a star, not just in the position sense, but like literally a star player, a really good player? Or is this going to be like a weakness that they're trying to solve for all year, and they're trying to debate, do we just move Gilbo back and live with his pros and cons? Can we even afford to move him from corner? Do we just learn with some growing pains with Littleton and Mack? Do we like make McDonald do it full time and try to move things around to make that as viable as possible? This could be a defining question of the season. And they may be able to get away with it. Like I said, they may be able to get away without a great answer into the postseason. But as soon as they get like LSU in the SEC championship game, or Alabama in the SEC championship game, or like Oregon or Clemson or USC in a playoff game, then this needs to be answered, or it becomes like an Achilles heel.
Luckily, I think the future is really bright for Littleton. And if you give him a whole season to get to the SEC championship and playoffs, I think I would feel better about it. I just don't want Littleton to have to do that game 1.
I've seen 2 versions of this, and I don't love the prospects. I've seen you've seen times, especially now that there's this expanded playoff, you've seen times where there are like freshmen that end up earning roles and playing important snaps and being really good by the playoffs. And then you also see, like, regardless of playoff era, you see like freshman guys that come in and are like solid or good early, but hit a freaking wall because they're not used to the grind. They're not used to the training requirements. They're not used to the targeting that they experience. And so if he's like immediately the guy and he's like a little bit smaller, I would worry about him hitting a wall. And instead of him actually getting better by the postseason, it actually becoming more of like a needing a new solution, you know?
Yeah.
Mack is older and bigger, so he might be, but we haven't seen these guys. We didn't see them in the spring. We don't really know what they're capable of. We don't know if they're about to be, we don't know if Littleton is like Tyrann Mathieu Jr. or if he's Quandre Diggs. These like guys that were great very early, or if he needs a little more time. We just don't know. Could be great. Could be great answers to these questions.
All right, guys. Deep passing attack, what we do and what we don't know after fall camp. Guys, we're getting ready to go into season for real. Super exciting. And of course, we got Farmageddon this weekend too, man. You got any thoughts on that matchup? Kansas State. Yeah, it's this weekend, week 0.
Isn't it in like Ireland or something?
Yeah.
It seems somehow fitting.
So it's for Midwest guys.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts, or you haven't even looked at it?
Kansas State and Iowa State.
Yeah.
Man, I don't think either team will ultimately win the Big 12. I picked Arizona State to come out of the Big 12 again, which is actually not usually how the league works. Usually there's like a tremendous volatility.
Yeah.
But Arizona State, everything that made them special last year, except Cam Scadaboo, is back. And so I kind of think that Dillingham has something really good brewing there. And maybe he'll endure the normal boom bust cycle after this season, but I think they got one more. And then after them, I think Utah is my next. Utah seems like they should be stable in the Big 12. And I think the reason that they haven't been stable the last couple of years is because Cam Rising hasn't been able to stay healthy, and it keeps submarining their entire strategy every year. Because he's so good if he'd been healthy, but then he like re-aggravates his knee or something.
Yeah, Kansas plays too. I can't remember, against a G5 or something. Somebody in the chat tell us. But yeah, Kansas plays. So it'll be fun, man. I'm excited for real football to be back.
That's a great game, Kansas State, Iowa State. It's been an awesome game for the last
State, Kansas.
That's a good matchup.
Yep.
It's been a really awesome game, and to have it week 0 in Ireland is pretty fun. So I'm definitely going to watch it.
I would never want my team to do it, but it's fun to watch other teams do it. All right, guys.
If Texas played in like the UK somewhere in week 0, it would be massive.
You think Eric would pay for the flight? Get you? I know he'd have to with Joe. See how many people could hang on and be like, "Well, I'd go cover the UK game."
I doubt it.
Good luck. Yeah,
we'll see how this YouTube channel goes between now and this theoretical future
UK game. All right, guys. You can join for $1 single for your first week. As a bonus, your membership includes a complimentary year to The Athletic. And then once again, guys, come celebrate with us. 40th anniversary. We have a funny graphic with Mike Gundy saying, "I'm 40, I'm a man." Come hang out, guys. Tuesday, August 26th, we're going to be in Houston. If you're a Houston guy, come hang out. Big City Wings. Happy hour starts at 5. After that is trivia. DFW crew, that's me. Wednesday, August 27th at the Katy Trail Icehouse. Happy hour starts at 5. And then back home in Austin, Thursday, August 28th at Little Woodrow's. Happy hour at 5. Trivia at 7. Come hang out with the Inside Texas community. You can ask our guys more in-depth questions in person, get a couple drinks, and then if you like trivia, you can hang out. I'm not really good at trivia. I'm really weak at trivia, but I will hang out. Ian, thank you. Chat, thank you guys. It feels good, man. Season is right around the corner. I'm excited. This was IT Live, and it was brought to you by the one and only Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have a wonderful Wednesday, y'all. Peace.